And looking back at Wednesday night, what we said that night was accurate. And then some. We turned the ball over too much. We had too many mental errors inside of the game. Really, we came down. We didn't play with nearly enough mental toughness. And I think it affected our physical toughness. We weren't nearly as good as we needed to be on the boards. Our mistakes came. We never got the pace where it needed to be. They controlled the pace, and it wasn't about the speed of the game. It was about, sometimes we'd play too fast and we'd make decisions that were poor. Sometimes we wouldn't play fast enough. Defensively overhelped, which hurt our shot challenges, where we're not an overhelp team. And bottom line, we just made too many mistakes. And I say all that, and if we make a layup with under a minute to go, it's a tie game. And so we did not play well. We did not play smart. We didn't play nearly as tough as we need to be. We played hard, but we weren't as efficient as we needed to be. And too many mistakes to beat a team and that's what these guys learned. I mean, anybody can beat anybody on any given night, and they earned the win. They were better in every facet that night. And again, it doesn't come down to the stat sheet. It comes down to the mistakes that we made. Now we've worked really hard mentally the last couple of days, as well as somewhat physically. And we've got a lot of guys, not only Jawan, but we have other guys that are banged up and nicked up, and we've got to be very smart about how we get ready for the games. But that's no excuse. I mean, we've really needed to lock in to get our mental approach where it needs to be, because the practices that we had, things of that nature, they were really good. It wasn't one of those situations where we weren't ready. I mean, we just didn't play like it, and we didn't play the way we needed to play inside of the game. But I had no indication leading up to that we would have that poor of a game, but we did, and it falls on all of us, and we're working to fix it. So Louisville provides an incredible challenge because, as I've told these guys, they could play for a lot of years. They may not see a much longer team than this, and they utilize that length extremely well. They're battle-tested. They've played great games. They've played in big venues. They've played a tough schedule. They're coming off a tough loss. And it's going to be a battle, and it has to be a battle. I mean, I told our guys that there will be absolutely no doubt that Louisville will bring their best, and they'll bring their toughness, and that length isn't going anywhere. So we've got to make sure that we bring ours, and hopefully we'll match that. You have to match the energy and effort of a Louisville team, and then you've got to let it go from there, and hopefully we have that.
What do you think about playing a conference game and then playing a non-conference game? I mean, would you prefer to play all your conference games in a row?
No, this is fine. This is a good thing. I mean, this is a thing that got put together a couple years ago. I think it's a really good thing, and you want, and then it balances out to give us each a home and home, after this. So I think it works out well. It's a great time of year. Obviously, it was a sellout in a short period of time, so there's a lot of interest in it. National television, as both teams are on television all the time, but it's just a little bit different tomorrow. So I think it's fine. I mean, it's part of it, and I think most moves that get made for timing and things of that nature are really good. Like I said last week, when we go to the early Big Ten games, I think that's great. So I saw Rick said this after the game. When they asked him about getting ready for the next game, he said, we've got 20 big games coming up. And that's what you want your team to understand. Every game is a big game. And the thing that I've liked about this team the whole year is how they've prepared for each and every game. And so this one's no different. It just happens to be they're an outstanding team.
How important is that,
Well, they got down, there's size everywhere. It's not just down low. I mean, that's a big team. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how important is that? I mean, obviously in the North Carolina game was a big focus, rebounding. How important will that be?
Oh, it'll be the key. Rebounding will be the key. Rebounding, transition defense, and then the turnover game. We're going to turn it over some. That's not what the issue is. The issue is the unforced turnovers and the mental errors that lead to turnovers. And the other night, we had a lot of it because of the pace. We tried to do too much the other night. We tried to penetrate too much to make things happen at times. And you can't do that. I mean, we made the game much, much harder on the offensive and defensive end than it had to be. And again, when you've got length like this that you're facing, you've got to really, really be true to your game plan and true to how you play. Or they'll expose it because of that length. That length can make up, shooting makes up for a lot. Well, length makes up for a lot. And we've got to make sure we don't allow that length to keep us from doing what we want to do.
Just kind of coattailing on that, but a lot of people talk about their block shots, but when you watch them play, it seems like the length is a factor, all over the court. Are there concerns about the length, just on the baseline, or is it like you said?
Well, the length is everywhere, and they switch. The length, they want you to slow down. They want to negate the speed of your offense with their switching and with their length, and you can't allow that to happen. And it becomes because it's very easy to see the switch and slow down. It's very easy to see the switch and think, well, that's a switch for you. No, the switch isn't for you. The switch, we want to keep making the game go. I don't mean the switch is for you. You could have any switch you want. I'm talking about the switch. And could you handle a switch? Would you want that length stepping out? But to us, we can't stop because they switched. We can't slow down because they switched. We got to keep playing the way that we need to play. They want you to slow down and take challenge shots against that length. They want you to attack the rim and throw the ball up there so they can swat it off the board and get that transition going. We had some guys that learned that the hard way a couple years ago. All right, but the length is all over because they're a deflection team, like we are. I'm not sure what they average, but they obviously get a lot of deflections, and they're going to absolutely come after that ball with us when they're pressing or in the half court. They're going to come after it and try to take it every time. And our guys have got to truly understand that. It's one of the reasons we practice 5 versus 7 when we're getting ready for a team like Louisville. And you have to do it. There's no way for even us, and we have a pretty big team, but there's no way for us to mirror that, right? So you've got to add, but I haven't had very many teams that could mirror, the length and size that he has had, since he's been there. So just do the best that we can and make sure that it's more about how we play and not play into their hands.
Did you do the 5-on-7?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Always do. Yeah.
So you talked about kind of the mental toughness transitioning to physical toughness.
Yeah.
You felt like it was more the former than the latter.
No, I think we were tough. Yeah, we were slow on some moves. I think we got beat on some blockouts. We were there late, right? That's mental to me more than physical. And, we weren't as alert and as aware at times as we needed to be. But there were times we got outworked. Ed Morrow outworked us. And we said going into the game that he does his best work when the shot goes up. And he had a big rebound late. Again, I say all that, and we make a layup late. It's a tie game going to the end of the game. So, I didn't let you finish your question.
I guess I was just going to kind of say, is it? It's hard to maybe phrase it, but is it kind of an individual thing that guys need to understand how to spark that kind of in real time? Is it something you address in halftime or in a huddle in terms of saying, guys, this isn't,
Our spatial awareness wasn't very good the other night, and as a whole, and it's not the speed and the length of the game. It's not the 94-foot game. It's the short space quickness and the spatial awareness that you have to have in that. And we spend as much time on short space movements as we do anything with strides and length. Length meaning the court. And the game is just full of aware situation. You got to turn and block out somebody. You got to sprint to the other side of the block to get someone. You got to those type of things. We weren't as quick moving as we needed to be, and I think some of that is because we just weren't as aware as we needed to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
With regard to the turnovers, I think it was Chuck who was talking about this a couple weeks ago, that many of them come from a place of good intent, that they're basically a product of selfishness. How do you reverse that? How do you kind of change the...
We got to slow down at times. Speed of the game, understanding, and pace of the game is probably very overused, undervalued, but it's not always about how fast you go, it's how simple you keep it. And there were times the other day we tried to take shots when the drop-off was there. There were times the other day we tried to make the pass when the shot was there. And a great example, OG's got a wide-open three. The only one that didn't think he was going to shoot it was OG because he thought he had Jawan. Well, Jawan's already in rebound position, doing exactly what he was supposed to do, getting inside position. OG was trying to pass the ball, but it ends up being a turnover, because he's going to try to make the next pass. So some of that, a lot of it does come out of unselfishness. But the other day we had a few shots we need back, and if we try to do that tomorrow, they'll set a blocks record. And we've tried to get our team to understand that. You're not going in there and say, "Oh, I'm just going to go score on these guys." Okay, I mean, and it's really hard, but you got to move them, and you've got to be smart, and you got to make the next pass, whether they're man, zone, press, whatever it is. So to me, we need to keep making simple decisions, and sometimes make them just a little bit sooner, than what we do. That's where the one dribble extra comes in. Sometimes, or one dribble less, and just hit the open man. I mean, I know it sounds trite, but it's the absolute truth. Just hit the open man when he's open, and we're pretty good when we do that.
I'll ask the obligatory Juwan question.
Oh yeah, was he in there? Was Juwan in? Did he come in? Okay, he's doing better, but I would anticipate him playing, but I'm not. We can't go definitive on that yet, and but if I was anticipating, I would, but don't turn around tomorrow and he didn't play and say, well, you said he was going to play. I didn't. I mean, we got to wait through tomorrow, but he's worked really hard to get better. But I mean, he couldn't have gone back in the other night, without a doubt, and he was extremely sore. And certainly our worst fears weren't realized, which was good because that was tough. That was tough when he went down. So, but we'll see tomorrow. But we've got numerous guys we've got to get healthy right now.
But does the non-conference versus Wisconsin coming in on Tuesday play into that decision?
No. I think it all becomes clearance and capability, right? And the clearance has got to come first. Once the clearance is there, then what's the capability? And keeping him as engaged as we possibly can in the things that we do, that he can do. And then just wait and see what needs to happen.
I just wanted to follow up real quickly. You said after the game, you thought it was likely a bruise. Was that the diagnosis?
We're just treating him. We're just treating him right now. But I mean, if he's going to be cleared, he'll be cleared. So
You said after, we were talking.
I'm not actually treating him, but I'm listening to the guys that are.
It was a few weeks after, but you said that you felt like guys took the Fort Wayne defeat personally in some ways that they needed to, in terms of maybe not just work or whatever, but leadership. Do you see some of that response?
I don't know. Yeah, we didn't. Our leadership's got to continue to grow. It's not all the way there after a couple of wins, and it's not all gone after a loss. It's got to grow, and it's in those stages. I don't have a great answer to that. I mean, leadership is just something that just kind of forms over a period of time, and there's a connectedness to it. And we did not play nearly well enough the other night and no one really took the reins of the team the other night on the court. And I think it's one of the reasons we didn't play as well. So we've had other times where guys have done that, and we've been able to. We've been in other close games. And we didn't close it out the other night. Even after we didn't play nearly good enough to win, but we still had a chance to win. And we just didn't do it. All right. Thank you.